If you're new here, we have been refitting this once abandoned sailboat for a year now.
Yeah, but after 1 year on the boatyard, it's about time to go to the water.
Yeah.
So from now on, we're gonna chase this list. This is the list of priorities that we need to do before we go to the water. So today we're gonna cross one more item of the list.
Guess what?
Yeah, I think it's better to show you than to tell you, right?
Yeah.
So let's get started.
I'm Roberta.
And I'm Duca.
And for the past year, we have been building our own tiny shipping container house, so we can travel around knowing that we will always have this little place that we can call home.
But guess what? We just found our dream project before we expected. This abandoned sailboat. So we are gonna stop building the house for a couple months to bring our boat back to life. And then we're gonna go back and finish the house. You know the kind of jobs that you've been postponing for a long time? Yeah, if you know us, you know we postpone things sometimes a long time, and it's not because we don't want to do it, it's because we are afraid of doing it.
Yeah.
Today's one of those days. We're gonna do something really serious, but that needs to be done. Can you close for me? You can close now.
Yeah.
Yeah, today we're gonna close the first lid of the diesel tank. And this is a job that cannot be half perfect, that need to be perfect, otherwise it's gonna leak diesel inside of the boat. We're not gonna know until next month probably if it's right or wrong, but in order to install the batteries and to finish finally the batteries, because, oh, we didn't tell you, we took all the batteries off, they're all back where they don't belong. Yeah, we had one more battery switch to install, and in order to do that we need to take off the batteries, and in order to do the final installation of the batteries, we need to install this lid of the diesel tank.
And actually the flange as well.
There's a flange down there and this lid, because once you install the batteries in place, it's much harder to install this because all the screws are underneath. So now we're gonna close this and close the flange, and then we're gonna put the batteries back. And this one we're gonna close just as it was the final closing, and then when we finish to close the entire diesel tank, we'll know if it's right or not. Let's hope. Yeah.
And we are actually nervous to install the flanges back because they are above the water line.
Under the water.
Under the water line.
Yeah, but the flange is really easy because it's a small. The flange is like, it's not this one, but it's just like a lot of screws to a small. It's easy. This one won't be the problem, I think. And this one we're gonna use Sikaflex in the gasket.
What's this one?
This is just an anode
For
the lifting center board box. But the problem is that as it's a diesel tank, we are only gonna have the gaskets, and we are only gonna glue this connection. So we need to rely 100% on the gasket, and that's scary. But that's just the way it was. So
chocolate chips and memories, coffee and homemade cookies, they make me feel at home. Father, brother, mother dear, you're so far but feel right here no matter how far I go. There's love inside. There's love inside. Big screen and a lazy boy, green and gold uniforms and a breezy colored autumn day.
anxious?
have you seen me scared?
Yeah.
That's me scared.
Many times.
Many times, yeah. This is one of those times. Now, where is the glue?
Here.
Fred, are you okay or are you anxious?
It's not his boat. He's like, whatever.
It's time to do.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Just so you understand all of this. Just a little bit less noise when you talk, Fred.
Sorry.
Fred always like to make noise only when I talk. Yeah, but all what we are doing, it's with the support, distance support of a friend of the former owner of the boat. This friend have built boats that were 40 something feet, 50 feet, 60 feet, 105 feet.
Steel boats.
It's most metallic boats, aluminum boats, a lot of them is steel boats. So he has a lot of experience, and all we are using, the materials we are using, and the way we are doing this is according to his tips. So he said this way will work. and we're just gonna do his way. We're just gonna add one small thing. This glue, he said we were supposed to glue only the corners, only where both gasket they join, but we're just gonna give a small line underneath the gasket just to make sure it won't give any harm. He said it's not necessary, we could do it but it's not necessary, but we're just gonna do a small line. In this way, when we take off, it's only glue the gasket on the bottom, on the top is not glue. We can take off easy the lid if we need, and the gasket will just be glued to the hull, to the tank. I think
Gloves?
I think it's better for one to have gloves and the other one not to have gloves.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So you were the one with dirty hands. I'm too clumsy.
Oh,
I'm too clumsy to participate, so I'm just watching.
A bit more.
this goes wrong.
So.
First to go first.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Dry your hands.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Now it's for real.
Can I go? Yeah, we are just giving slowly pressure. We are not on the final pressure yet. So now we're just doing, doesn't matter. We're just doing on the order, on the right order, but with not the final pressure.
Next step, cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, like, we try to use the torquemeter to give the same torque to everything, but the lowest torque we have on this torquemeter is the only one we found to buy. It's not enough. I mean, it's too much. We believe it's enough,
This one is weak.
Yeah.
and this one
It's
is
not
too
strong enough.
But we did by hand on this, and our friend said that you can feel by hand and just do it slow, and he always have it done by hand and it works.
And we think it's enough. The rubber went out a little bit, and
You could feel that it squeeze the gasket, so I mean, we need to give it a try. It's gonna stay like this, and then, because if we do too much, the metal can bend. So the next step now is to close this flange. Can you see the flange right there? Right here?
actually to get to this point, we had a lot of work. So let's go back in time a little bit. It's about time to try to take off the flanges. So this one is here. I'm trying to use this one on the back and this one on the top here. I guess I need Duca's help because I'm half an hour just trying to take this last one off because there's paint on the top. Almost there actually. Guess what? I did it! I thought I did. Almost there. Yeah, I did it! After half an hour, I took off the last screw nut and washer. Now we can try to disconnect this. Now I need to. It's totally glued.
You're gonna be a fiddler someday, but you better get to practicing before you're old and gray.
That's how this works.
And your best years slip away. We laughed and joked and skipped along the way. And your best years slip away.
What's going on there?
I'm working.
She's on the hose.
I'm glad I'm short.
That's a nice picture. My turn.
So glued.
Next one. Vai sair. Tá fumando?
It's so easy when you have the correct tool.
Correct guy.
Perfect. Actually, the condition of the flames is not that bad. Just a slight sanding. So this is one of the flames that is not used for nothing right now, but is a place that we can install an extra sensor if we want in the future. So we're just gonna paint and reseal that to make sure no water goes inside, and you're good to go. Let's check the other one house. So we used to have two sensors. We're gonna just install one sensor, that's it. So we're gonna close this one also, the same as that one. And now with this.
Why we are gonna use just one and before was two?
Because he had like a more modern one and a really old one, like an old school one. They're not working right now, so it's fine. One is enough. If we need in the future, we just take the boat off the water and we install an extra one. Right now we have
So
one.
it's
We're gonna install
a
one.
depth sensor, right?
Depth and speed in the same one. And these used to be two because back in the days they had one sensor for depth and one for speed. Now they do both on the same one, so we don't need two.
Okay. I think it's good.
I think it's just perfect because we're gonna squeeze a little bit more and then it's gonna be flush. You know?
Yeah.
Because this is not tight. When you tie it up, it's gonna be just flush. Looks perfect. This so smooth. I like it.
Moving on.
Told ya. No.
And trying to get some internet.
Yes.
Give some sacrifice here. Just a quick explanation. We didn't need to apply Sikaflex, we have a gasket. But this is underneath the water line and we painted this. It's really flat as possible, the paint, but you never know if there is any small gap on the paint. So this was installed with silicone in the past, so we're just gonna, and the water never got in the boat through here, it seems like, so we're gonna just do the same thing. And in this way we can guarantee water won't go inside of the boat. And the only problem with that is that if we need to take this off, it makes life a lot harder, but we found a way of doing it. We just need to heat it up and then we can take it off. So we're just gonna repeat the process.
Working in progress here.
Really? Yeah, the access is not that easy.
Now it's not sticking there, I need to put this one. So what we are doing, I'm putting the nuts and the washer on the back and Duca is just pressing on the top. So I get my hands dirty.
And today is really hot inside.
Yeah, it's 29 degrees Celsius.
30. Almost 30.
No, did you want?
Just spinning with you.
Yeah.
Next step.
We are done sealing this part of the boat. I mean, like, we still have a lot of holes to close, but this is just a big deal. I mean, like, we feel a little bit more comfortable to do the rest now. When the time comes. Not yet.
What are you doing?
An experiment. I mean, it's something that we believe is necessary. This is where you can install sensors if we want, like this one. This is where we're gonna install the depth and speed sensor. It's gonna be on this one. But we do have 3 of those flanges on the boat. This one's gonna be nothing, it's just gonna be the flange because we have just one sensor. But if I leave this as it is, is not connected to the hole, and if it's not connected to the hole, that means that there is no anode for this piece, so this is vulnerable. What I'm doing is I'm gonna sand around one screw, and I did already sand down on the flange, and then the screw is gonna connect this metal to the metal of the hole. So that means that the anode of the boat is gonna work also for this piece. That's the idea. So I need to sand until I expose the metal. You need to have fun while you work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a tricky and important moment. I mean, I'm not sure if we showed you, I think we showed you in your past episode, we already closed one of these flames. But everything we close on the hole, it means we are closer to get on the water, because right now we cannot go to the water because we would sink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of holes on the boat. So every time we close a hole on the hole, it's like a victory. And today we're gonna have at least one more victory. This one we're gonna do it tomorrow. We need to check about the sensor and
Yeah.
one thing.
We have some doubts.
Yeah, so let's go to the hole. Yeah.
You know Chaves?
I know, but I don't know if
If
everyone-
people would know.
Some years ain't got much to show. Spend most of my matches back against the ropes. There's a crowd looking on. What are you?
And that's it. One more. Actually, it's just the beginning. Now comes the best part.
I need to win one. Get me back on my feet.
This is the most critical one. Let's see. This is the flange, and this is the support for the depth and speed sensor. That
And
goes,
this is the special too,
yeah,
made
this,
just for this.
yeah. This supposedly you just turn by hand. You don't need any tool to turn this around. That's what the manual says. But in our case, especially in our case, as we have a flange, it's really hard to be able to turn all the way down. We won't be able to do it. So we fabricate, we ask a guy to fabricate for us this tool that goes like this. We're gonna do really slow, just simulating we are using our hands. We're not gonna do with this to be really tight, otherwise you're gonna break this. It's just so we can reach. And if one day we need to take this off, this will help a lot, because then we can, yeah, it's gonna make life a lot easier in the future. So now, let's just glue this. Today's the day. We're gonna install the third flange finally, but as we are not gonna install the electronics right now yet, we're just gonna close with this plug. But it's so tight that it's better to use some lubricant on the O-ring just to make sure it's easier to go inside, make our life easier to put in and out, because really soon we're gonna take this off and install the sensor. But for now, that's it. Now if we forget to install the sensor, we won't sink the boat. We are not gonna forget, but just in case, just leave these like this. And now let's go to the hole. I guess that's it, huh?
Good job.
Yeah, we are 3 out of, I think, 13 or 14 holes that we need to close on the hull. Seems like nothing, but it's a huge deal. Now we got used to it, it's gonna be a lot quicker to do the rest, so that's what we're gonna keep doing this week, right?
We
We
hope
take off the
so.
mask a little bit. No one's here, it's just the two of us. Yeah, just the two of us. Yeah, so now, for this week that's it, because it's just, the episode is getting way too long, right?
As usual.
Yeah, we're gonna keep working on, we still have all the flanges for the valves, and we still have the flange for the fridge. I think next week is the flange from the fridge. We're done already. Yeah. Too much for 1 week. We're gonna show you next week, right?
But before you go,
We need to welcome on board our new patrons for this week.
so welcome on board.
Just,
Dominic,
Scott,
Gerhard,
Cliff,
Ademar,
and we also want to thank some donations to our PayPal. Thanks so much Christian and James,
Rab and Joyce.
and Luis Augusto. Guys, thanks so much. We really appreciate your support, but now is the most important thing of the episode. We need to cross...
Not that you are not important, you are really important.
No.
Without you, we
Of course you are
were
really
not
important.
doing what we
I mean of the episode itself, of the refit, because we need to cross an item, because every time we cross an item we get excited to
Yeah.
that we are getting closer.
Ta-da! Yeah, it seems to be it.
You guys
Just
must be thinking these guys are never gonna go to the water because it's an entire week and they just closed 3 flanges. No. There's one more thing. Where is the diesel tank? Diesel tank. It's just a small dot. Yeah.
1 out of 9.
Yeah,
but
1 out
we
of
did
9
it.
is something 1/9 of the tank we closed. Yeah, the truth is we done more than that this week, but we cannot show you everything in 1 week. It's just too much content. Otherwise, we're gonna just skip steps. We don't want to show you half information. We want to show you proper information, and in order to do that, we need to limit the amount of things in 1 week. So we didn't finish 100% the rest, but we are working on a lot of those. These. Yeah, we are working on a lot of these at the same time. So that means that next week we have more progress from this list. And
Just a hint. Around here.
yeah, I mean we are confident. It's still possible to go to the water on the 7th of August. Still possible, not 100% possible, but 90-something%. So yeah, let's stop talking and see you guys next week, right?
We see you next week.
See you guys next week.
See you.